In today's tutorial, you are going to be learning how to do this. I think that's enough said. Let's get to work. This video is sponsored by Wondershare DVD Creator. With Wondershare's DVD Creator, you have now the power to create DVDs with any kind of video. You can burn your DVDs in up to 150 different kinds of formats and have the support for all popular disc types to cover all your needs. The process is dead simple. You select the format and click burn. One-click goodness and no complicated hassle. The software also supports simultaneous process for multiple videos. They are still running a -50% Black Friday sale that gives you a 100% chance of winning an extra piece of something nice. It ends on November 30th, so click the first link in the description to learn more. What's going on, boys and girls? My name is VK. Welcome to another exciting, phenomenal creation video effect tutorial. It's a good day today. Let's go ahead and create the Iron Fist fist glowing effect from the Netflix series running on Netflix. Yeah, the Marvel series running on Netflix. It's really cool. You got a bunch of cool effects. This fist effect is one of them. So let's go ahead and jump into After Effects and let's see how this is pulled off. So this is real simple, and we have our fist. Let's make it glow. We have some veins. We have this energy pulsing inside it. Let's go ahead and recreate this. As usual, I have taken the liberty to create a new composition. Here, it's a slightly different clip than in this example here, but it doesn't matter because that just proves the point that we can apply this to more than just my footage, which you will be able to download in the description down below, as you always will, so you can train with my footage so you don't have to go and shoot your own. But if you want to, you're welcome to do that. Alright, so here we have my footage. It's already color graded because this really works fine with shots that where the fist is evenly lit, and it's also a little bit dark because this effect method tends to overexpose the effect really easily. There are ways to compensate for that, and I will tell you them during this tutorial. But I color graded this so it's a bit darker. So okay, let's go ahead and find. The first thing to do is to motion track this, and we don't have to use the mocha tracker because this is super simple what we're going to be doing. Let's go ahead and just select the footage and go to track motion, the tracking panel. If you don't see this panel, you guys go to window and type and click the tracker. Okay, let's go ahead and select the footage, be on the first frame, track motion, and here's the ungraded clip here with a lot more brightness. So this is easily going to be tracked. Let's go ahead and track position, rotation, and scale. So we get 2 reference points. Let's put the first one somewhere around here, somewhere where there's a lot of contrast. Let's make the search box really like this. The second one could be probably here. There's a lot of, like a nice dark point here. Good. Like this. Now let's go ahead and just analyze forward. It does the track. It should be pretty simple, not too hard. Awesome. Let's go ahead and create a new null object. Let's hit enter or return and just call this track. Let's go to the edit target. Yes, it's on track, and apply. So we're applying just the tracking data to this null object. Sorry if I'm moving fast. It's just so simple to do. All right. Here we have the tracking data now applied also to the color graded footage, because the layer composition just only shows the layer as raw. Alright, so what we're gonna do now is to go ahead and create that energy flow, and we're gonna use the the fractal noise effect. But let's go ahead and first create a new solid. Control Y, Command Y, and let's create a solid. Let's call this noise, or actually we could call it energy because it's a bit more accurate. Let's go ahead and find the fractal noise effect here. Let's double click, and now I will be showing you my settings I used for my clip because they worked really well in my clip. But the point is that you can take these things I teach you, make some variations, and make them look good on your footage. So you don't have to use exactly my numbers, but this is just to give you some direction. Let's go to the fractal type and find dynamic. It makes it a little bit more bubbly and energy-like. Let's go to contrast and drop this to something like 57. And let's put the brightness on 2. Let's go to the complexity and give it something like 8. These are my pre-made numbers for this effect, but then you can go ahead and play around with these however you want. So that's really good. Let's go to transform and maybe scale this up to 220 pixels. go to the evolution and click alt click. So let's make an automated animation. So this continuously already is forming the energy pulse. Let's type in the expression panel time times 100. Let's click on the blank area. So apply this. And now we can see it's have this bubbly energy going on. All right, let's go to the first frame. Let's go ahead and turn off this energy layer. Let's hit G on our keyboard to get the masking tool. And now we're going to restrict this energy just to our fist. Let's go ahead and zoom in. You can have the roto bezier clicked, because that will just basically round off the edges automatically for you. So in this case, it works really nicely. Something just inside the fist like this. Let's go ahead and turn on the layer again. See the feathering to smooth out the edges a touch. Something like this. Now let's go ahead and parent this with the pick whip tool to the tracking. So now when we click on, it should be pretty well tracked. With some scaling, some rotationing. Alright, looks cool. Now let's go ahead and work with this, the next layered effect here, which is going to be some human veins, because it's really cool in the original effect in the series, where you can see the veins which are blocking the illumination of the core energy, which is happening inside the fist. So what I'm going to do, I have here a vein image, and I will also have this included. It's a pretty small image. You can find better ones online if you want to. I'm just gonna really simply make a mask so we can like deselect and subtract it from the text. And let's put it to multiply to key out the white. Let's go to find a tint effect, make it black and white, and then find an unsharp mask to give it some sharpening so it turns like just extremely black, like just pure black. Nice. Let's go ahead and deselect this pathfinder tool, or basically just so you can see the path. We also don't have to see the track. Let's go ahead and move the anchor point as I just did here at the bottom. It's just easily maneuverable. Then let's go ahead and start building an overlay on top of our fist here to manipulate how we want to see our veins. And it doesn't matter if they go outside the fist, because we're going to use a track matte that will then restrict it just to the fist area. Okay, let's go ahead and, for example, take this one and rotate it. Let's put it something like here. Let's go ahead and duplicate this one, put it somewhere on the top. Let's maybe rotate this. So, and I'm using the W key to rotate, but you can also use the rotation panel here, or just click the rotation tool here on the top left corner. Something like this. We're gonna go ahead and take the first one, duplicate it, put it into the middle, but this one we're going to be scaling up, so it's like a huge vein. And then let's go to find a fast blur effect like this, and hold down the command key so you can have finer increments, and just giving different blur values to our different effects here will give the illusion of that we have different levels of depth. So if I have this a little less blurry than the big one, and the first one also just a little touch of blur, it will give it like an illusion that we're having multiple layers, that some of the veins are deeper inside my fist than others. We're gonna go to the big vein. Let's go ahead and just drop the opacity down. We can do that to the second one also, and we can leave this maybe just 80%. It's pretty cool. Now when we have all our veins, what we're gonna do is go ahead and like pre-compose those. Command-Shift-C, Control-Shift-C. Let's call this vein network. And now we can see the different opacity levels for the white backgrounds, because this is a white background image. Let's open this up. Let's make this more uniform by creating a new solid. Let's make it completely white and make that as a background for this whole thing. So we have like one continuous background, and then we have our vein elements. Let's go back to the tutorial, and now let's go to the energy layer and find the track matte to luma matte. What it's going to be doing is to take away that white and use the black levels here to create transparency. So now this is going to give it transparency on our energy layer from that vein network. So that's what Illumamat does. It takes away the black to create transparency. It's really cool in a case like this. Now I want to start making this look more colorful and make this actually look like a glow. So I'm going to take the energy and the vein network, pre-compose those, and call this Fist Effects. And now what I'm going to do is go inside here, and this has a lot of transparency in the background, but so we can color correct this and color grade this or colorize this in a way that we want. What we should do is go ahead and add this a black background. So because transparency is really hard to color correct, it doesn't color correct really properly. Let's go ahead and create a background layer. Let's make it black. Okay, let's put it on the here somewhere in behind, right here at the bottom. Let's go back to the tutorial. We can close off the vein network, and now let's use the color dodge blending mode. This will basically take away the black and also give the white an additive mode. So it's like it's pretty cool. It's giving this pretty fiery look because it's on skin tones which have some red, some oranges, so that will just build up the effect. It looks pretty nice. Now let's go ahead and make that fist effect and parent that to the track. Nice. So when we hit play, we already have a pretty good effect here. It looks pretty nice. And if you can see some imperfections in the tracks, that doesn't matter. When we put our glows and stuff on top of it, that will hide it. But if you want to make a better track, you can always do this. But I just want to show you how you can do this. It has little imperfections, but that doesn't matter so much in our project. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is going to have to colorize this. This is a little bit too red in my taste, and also when we're replicating the original effect. So let's go ahead and find the curves adjustment effect here. Let's put on the fist effect. Let's go to the blue tab, and by dropping blues, we're introducing more yellows. So I want just a little bit more yellows, and let's go ahead and pull those reds down like this, so we don't have too much of those reds. Nice. And now you can see some parts are more, the core energy is overexposing in some areas. And if you want to control this, as I mentioned earlier, if you want to control this, you can go to the fist effects, you can go to the energy tab and play with the contrast. For example, playing the contrast is giving a different look, and the brightness. So I found that 50 or 57 gives a pretty good mid balance, and this all depends on how well your scene is lit. So by playing around with the brightness and the contrast, you can add how the effect will look like. So by dropping down that brightness to -5, actually did a pretty good trick here. So yeah, now it looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and start adding some glows to the atmospherical area around the fist, and also a little bit on the body. So how we're going to work with this is, let's go ahead and create a new solid. Let's call this fist glow like this. And let's go ahead and find some orange hue and some really light orange hue here. Let's put that to the screen mode. And let's go ahead and take the ellipse tool and make an elliptical mask around our fist. Now let's go ahead and select the cursor tool and shift click on one of the points to start manipulating it. And let's just go ahead and form this to our fist here. Something like this. Let's go ahead and feather this out. Something like 320 pixels maybe. Something around this. And then what we can go ahead and do is go ahead and duplicate this mask and make this feather for this one a lot lower, and take the mask opacity down and make this also an additive. Yeah, but it's already an additive, just so it gives some more core glow to the highlights. It's really cool. But then you can also play to put this on add. I think it just adds a little bit too much of dramatics. But when you put on screen and then color grade this, then you can make it look really, really nice. So this is just a really simple how to make your fist glow. All right, so let's put this, let's go ahead and move this entirety to the fist here. Let's go ahead and parent this to the track also. So now we have everything parented to the track. Awesome. Now the last thing to do here before we start animating this is let's go ahead and make an glow for our body too. And how we're gonna do this, let's go to the first frame. Let's go and duplicate our footage. Let's rename this to body glow, like this. So now we're just gonna be adding some key features that it's cool to have a glowing fist, but if it's interacting with your body too, that will add that extra kick of realism. Awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and have the body glow here. So what we're gonna do is find a curves layer here and make a new curves. We have a bunch of curves layers because this is my color grade. So that's what we're gonna be doing here. Okay, let's start adding some stuff. Let's go ahead and make it a lot more brighter here. Let's go to the red panel. I want to have a little bit more red here. Stuff like this. Let's go and drop let's go ahead and drop the green and the blue. So we have this really nice orange yellow hue going on. We can always add some, maybe desaturate the greens. It's good to have used that also on the shadows, something around this. And then what we're gonna do is go ahead and take the body glow and make a mask around the area we want it to affect. And I think adding a little bit of this chest on my jacket like this looks pretty good. So what we're gonna do now is to feather it out so it looks like this, but this doesn't look so natural because light doesn't work in a way that it illuminates this part which is closest to this part equally. It should be fading out, the light inside should be fading out instead of having this same equal amount of illumination to this whole masking area, because now after this point it just turns black. We would want a little bit more of a transition happening to there. But there's a really cool way how we can make this. Let's go ahead and find a linear wipe. Linear wipe effect is really commonly used when you want to create a wipe for a footage, but we're gonna use this in a really cool way. Let's go ahead and make the transition completion something like, so we can see what we're doing here, like this, and let's add some angle like this, and let's go ahead and feather this out something like with 260 pixels. So now you can see it's actually making a fade of this this glow. So it's looking a lot more natural how the light is done, the illumination. And we could go and parent this to the track, but our body is not moving in the same perception or in the same method as our fist. So we really shouldn't do that. What we're gonna do is go ahead and make a real simple manual mask path thing. But I'm gonna show you a way how to make this really, really fast. Let's go and just hit M, hit mask path, and then let's go ahead and select all these points. And then you can use Shift, page down, go 10 frames forward, and then just make the corrections you want, like this. And go always 10 frames. And now the comp is ended, like that. So now we pretty much have our body glow, we have our fist glow, we have our effect. So the last thing we're gonna do is go to animate this so it starts up glowing, and it's so much easier than you probably might think. You go to the first frame, you hit T, you go to opacity, because the whole effect is driven from this one layer. So let's go ahead and take this 100% layer, let's put it on something like 1/2 seconds, let's put this 0. Let's take the first fist glow, have the opacity, go to max a little bit later, and start a little bit later also. So now when we play it back, you can see it starts glowing like this. We can make this actually transition a little bit longer. And the same thing goes for the body glow. Let's go ahead and take the opacity, and this can work in the same perception or in the same relationship as the fist glow. And there you have your final effect. It's looking pretty cool. Now you can go ahead and color grade this however you want. You can try out different methods to create the glow. I think the glow is looking really well when using on screen. It's basically making that that whole color effect a little bit more log-like, so it's easier to color grade. So that's just why I use the screen mode. But you can also use additive and then just dropping curves and something like this to play around with that. But this looks pretty cool. I really like this, and I hope you guys did like this effect too. Thanks guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy this tutorial, definitely hit me a like and a comment below this video. It really helps out the channel, and definitely consider subscribing if you haven't already. And as I promised, a little surprise here in the end. I'm gonna make the second part of this tutorial. It's going to be destruction of wall. We're gonna be destroying a wall with this fist, and you definitely should keep looking on that. Definitely subscribe if you want to see how to destroy a wall with some realistic debris, realistic dust elements. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So definitely subscribe and hit that notification bell if you don't want to miss out on that video. But until next time, my name is VK, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.